Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you. This is one that I am pretty eager to talk about because I had a lot of fun playing this deck. I'm actually literally just coming off of the stream where I played it. We ended about 20 minutes ago, and I am so excited to talk about it that that's how soon I'm diving into recording the actual video here. We're going to be covering Salamangreat. So this is one of the decks from the new pack. However, unlike Memento and Horus, Salamangreat has been around for quite some time, since the start of Master Duel. I believe it was around the start of Master Duel. And it got a structure deck about a year and a half ago, I think, at this point. And now it is receiving its wave of follow-up support. And I will say that of all of the decks that I've played, like, both before the follow-up support and after, this is like one of the more impressive glow-ups I've ever seen. Salad beforehand was definitely a pretty solid deck, but for me personally, a lot of the time whenever I played it, I felt like the turn 1 boards in particular lacked a lot of oomph, right? It honestly felt to me, again, before the new support, whenever I would play the Salamangreat, which was not too often to be fair, that the best thing it seemed like it was doing, it was just turboing out Update Jammer access code, to the point where I'm like, this should probably just be a going second deck, all about turboing out Update Jammer access code. And if you're going to play a Cyberstack that OTKs, it's like you might as well play MathMech, right? But Salamangreat now does a lot of very, very unique things within its own archetype. As you can see here, we're not even playing access code in our current build, although I will say that I did consider it. So, you're probably wondering, alright, if you're not making access code, then how are you winning with Salamangreat? As you can see, we have not one but 2 boss monsters that are League 4s in here. We have the new Salamangreat Raging Phoenix, which enables a lot of stuff. This older card is Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix, and while it is older, it is enabled by some new support, particularly the Code of Soul. One thing I will say, I want to address a couple of things actually here in the deck profile as far as the build itself, because when I was doing research for Salamangreat, there was a lot to go through. Basically, I noticed that a lot of the tournament-topping builds I was looking at were on a 3 Salamangreat of Fire and 0 Lady Debug. However, I also noticed that there was a couple lists and a lot of people in the Master Duel Discord who were very vocal that you should only play 1 Salamangreat of Fire and play 3 Lady Debug. And after doing, and here's the thing too, I kept getting confused because people were saying like, oh, Salad of Fire is bad because it fire locks you. And I was like, okay, well, doesn't a lot of the stuff in this deck fire lock you anyway? Why is that so bad? The reason that people were saying that this is bad is because you can't go into Cyber's Wicked, which is a line that can play through Nibiru. And while that line is pretty safe at playing through Nibiru, I think it's weak. The line in question only ends on a Raging Phoenix plus the counter trap and like nothing else. So I think you can do a lot better than putting up 1 counter trap Omni. And in fact, what you can put up is not 1, but 2 potential board wipes. I do think in a build where we're not focusing on the safe line, though, Lady Debug does still end up being better for a few niche reasons. The main reason I like Lady Debug, I'm not even really thinking about fire locking, right? Because I'll tell you right now, I actually don't have a single game where I summoned Wicked. Although, again, I think that it is the safe play to make Wicked. I did not have a single game where I summoned it. I would instead go for a combo line that ends on the double board wipe plus the Omni Negate, again in the form of Pyro Phoenix plus the Rage. The main thing that I think the main reason why a lot of builds were on 3 Salamangreat of Fire was before Code of Soul came out, that just kind of seemed like the natural way to play Salamangreat. Code of Soul, however, is not only searchable off of Lady Debug, but also the combo line that turbos out the Pyro Phoenix on your opponent's turn with Code of Soul, that actually summons Salamangreat of Fire off of Mirage Stalio to search Weasel. Now, if you open Salamangreat of Fire, there are other ways you could potentially do the combo line. However, Lady Debug is capable of going into the combo line by herself. I believe if you Lady Debug by yourself, you basically just don't end on the counter trap, but you still end on the Rage as well as the Pyro Phoenix setup to activate on your opponent's turn. What I mean by that, by the way, is Code of Soul has a graveyard effect that says during your opponent's main phase, quick effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard immediately after this effect resolves, like summon a Link 3 or higher Cyber Slink monster. And Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix says, its card is Link summoned using a Pyro Phoenix as a material, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. So, if you have up a Pyro Phoenix and a field spell, and Code of Soul is in your graveyard, then Code of Soul effectively reads, banish this card from the graveyard, destroy all cards your opponent controls. So, that is going to be your main source of interaction with the Salamangreat inboard here, is the board wipes for your opponent. Again, not only can we accomplish the board wiping with Pyro Phoenix, but Salamangreat Rage's second effect can destroy cards up to the Link rating of a Salamangreat monster you control that was Link summoned using a monster of the same name. So you can do that on a Pyro Phoenix if you've already done that line, or your main turn 1 combo line also ends on a Raging Phoenix that was summoned using itself as a material. So you have a normal trap card that pops 4. You have an interaction here that pops the whole board. And again, if you open Lady Debug plus an extender, or if you open Gazelle plus Spinny, you also have the counter trap. So again, to me, that just seems like the best thing to be doing. I don't know, Nibiru is a scary card, but I don't think that alone is worth pivoting into such a weaker board. I actually had a great time as far as not only fun playing Salamangreat, but also in terms of our win record. I mean, I came very close to, I started at Master 3, and we were within like 3 games, I think, of Master 1 at our height. So we were doing a lot of really good ranked ladder grinding, getting a positive win rate in upper Masters with this style of Salamangreat deck. I think this is just the way to go. There are a lot of different ways you can play this deck, though. If you want to play 3 Salamangreat of Fire, that's also a viable build that could do well. If you want to play the safe line, the Cyber Swick Kid, that only ends on the 1 negate, that kind of style of play could also probably do you pretty well. It's also worth noting that I have relatively limited experience with Salamangreat, especially post new support. This 4-hour stream I just did is pretty much the only playtest session I've had with the deck. That said, I feel like I have a pretty solid grasp of what the deck is trying to do as far as, like, again, the big combo line. And I just don't ever see a world where I'm satisfied ending on, like, Raging Phoenix and the Roar and nothing else. Where I'm like, well, at least I played around Nibiru. It's like, no, I think I'd rather just have, like, the option to multiple board wipe. And, like, the 1 in 10, 20, however many games I get Nibiru'd, I get nibbed. It's ranked ladder, that's fine. If I was taking this deck to a tournament, I might be a little bit more cautious, but, like, again, it's ranked ladder. Who gives a shit? So I think this list here, I'm honestly very, very satisfied with, including the copy of Salamangreat Mirror. This card is not required by any means. I think there are a couple of optional Salamangreat cards you could play, such as one of the new spell cards. I do kind of wish I was playing... Oh, I always spelled this wrong. I do kind of wish I was playing Salamangreat Charge, this one right here, because in grind games, this can help a lot to, like, reload your deck and be able to do your combo lines over again if you need to. And yeah, like I said, I could see a world where I play a copy of this card for sure. Mirror is also not required. However, I have found that Salamangreat Mirror is an excellent extender if you open, like, a lot of gas. And having the extra body is important because if you have the mirror, like, basically if you have an extra material you can use during your main combo line, that will translate to ending on an extra Raging Phoenix with buffed attack points, which I think is definitely worth it. So, I think it's probably best at this point if I just break the list down card by card, and I have a duel picked out where I can, like, show you the combo line I'm talking about to give you a better visualization of what I've been doing here. So, yeah, like I said, let's break this list down card by card and then get into those games. We are on 2 Effect Veiler, 3 Max C, 1 Salamangreat Mirror, 1 Salamangreat of Fire. We got 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 Salamangreat Foxy, 3 Salamangreat Gazelle, 2 Salamangreat Spinny. Note, you can actually get away with only playing 1 of this, but it's a very, very good extender, so I really like opening it, and thus I played 2. But 1 Salamangreat Weasel, 1 Code of Soul, 3 Lady Debug, 1 Salamangreat Jaguar, 1 Nibiru the Primal Being, 2 Cynet Mining, I wish 3, 2 Cynet Mining, 2 Troll Tactics Talent, 1 Salamangreat Sanctuary, 1 Will of the Salamangreat, 2 Called by the Grave, 3 Salamangreat Circle, 1 Crossout Designator, 3 Infinite Permanents, 1 Salamangreat Rage, and then 1 Salamangreat Roar. And there is our main deck. For the extra, we are on 1 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince, 1 Salamangreat Mirage Shalio, 2 Salamangreat Baylynx, 1 Cyber Swickhead, 2 Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf, 1 Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames, 2 Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix, and then 3 Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. So there is our list. Let's see some duels. Okay, our first opponent is on Ghost Trick Pearly. This is going to be more of a game where I kind of just show off the combo line, and then we'll see more like back and forth games here after this one. But so here I opened Lady Debug plus Salamangreat Circle. Basically, in order to do the combo line, you need access to Gazelle and Spinny from your opening hand. Obviously, not only Salamangreat or Circle acts as a searcher, also a quick play spell means you can use it during the draw phase, helps play around Joel. Lady Debug, you can also normal summon Lady Debug to add either of those cards, and that will also be fine. So if I had opened, for example, Lady Debug plus Gazelle, that would still be the same combo line. If I'd opened Lady Debug plus Spinny, that would be the same line. Same with Gazelle plus Circle, Spinny plus Circle. It's all pretty much the same, right? So I'm going to use the Circle to add Gazelle here. Normal summon Lady Debug, and then I'll add a Salamangreat Spinny. From here, I'm going to link the Lady Debug into Salamangreat Baylynx. Baylynx effect will add the field spell, the Sanctuary, of course, right? We'll play that. Now I'm going to use Spinny effect to discard to boost Baylynx by 500, and that will proc the Gazelle to special summon itself. Let's say you did just open Spinny plus Gazelle, right? Then what you would do is normal summon Spinny, link it into Baylynx, and then linking Spinny into Baylynx will proc Gazelle, and you would just end up basically in the same spot I'm in right now. So now we're going to use Gazelle to send Salamangreat Roar, the counter trap, to the graveyard. We'll bring back Spinny after that. Overlay our 2 level 3s for Salamangreat Mirage Stalio. Now we're going to use the Mirage Shalio to special summon Salamangreat of Fire from our deck. Now you might be wondering, but Hex, does the Salamangreat of Fire firelock you? Yes, but Mirage Shalio also firelocks you, so we're definitely fine to just be firelocked by this point in the combo line. Here I'm going to add the Mirror as an extra body, as I was discussing earlier. Now, I opened Salamangreat Weasel. If I had not opened Weasel, you absolutely would just search the Weasel here. But again, if you have an extra search like I do here, you can add Mirror to help give you an extra body on your end board. So I'm summoning Mirror here, but you don't need to have it. You could just link off the Fire or Mirage Shalio with the Baylynx here. Either way, you do want to make Sunlight Wolf and then summon Weasel to the Sunlight Wolf zone. That way you can add back the Gazelle and then have that for plays for follow-up turns. So now we're going to link off the Sunlight Wolf with the Mirage Shalio to summon the Promethean Princess. Make sure you're not using Weasel as a material. And also make sure that you do use Stalio as a material. That way the Spinny gets into the graveyard. You need to have both exactly Weasel and a level 3 non-tuner in play right now. That way you can synchro summon them for the Fire Fist Horse Prince. You've probably been wondering why we're playing this card. So Fire Fist Horse Prince, upon synchro summon, we can't special summon level 5 or higher monsters for the rest of the turn. Doesn't matter at all for this deck. Moreover, but though when this card is synchro summoned, we can special any, doesn't even have to be a Salamangreat, but any fire level 3 monster from our deck. Which for us, very importantly, will be the Code of Soul. I'm going to activate Code of Soul's effect, but because I have the field spell, I don't need to necessarily. Now I can make the Raging Phoenix. We're going to use either Code of Soul or Raging Phoenix's effect, either one, doesn't matter, to summon a second Raging Phoenix. Now we can add off of Raging Phoenix, use Weasel's effect, and this is important by the way, you're gonna get asked if you want to activate Weasel on the first Raging Phoenix. Don't do it. You need to wait until the second one. So we're going to Chainlink 1, Raging Phoenix effect to add a Salamangreat card. Chainlink 2, Weasel to summon the Baylings from our graveyard to our opponent's field and then draw a card. Chainlink 3, Salamangreat Roar to set itself. Now, another note here with the Roar. You could, way back earlier in the combo line, use Sanctuary to summon out the second Sunlight Wolf and add back Roar that way, but I don't advise doing that. I think it's better to hold on to the second Sunlight Wolf for potential follow-up plays and just set the Roar off of its own effect, right? The Roar will banish itself, but that's fine. It's not like... It's very rare to get into a grinding game that goes on so long that that actually matters. Now with Phoenix, you're going to want to add the Salamangreat Rage, the other trap card. But more importantly, we can actually summon Promethean Princess here, because as you can see, we summoned Baylings to our opponent's field. So we're going to pop the Baylings we put on their field, alongside the Code of Soul that is on our field, to bring back Promethean Princess. This will trigger the Raging Phoenix that's in our graveyard to bring itself back. And now, normally what you would do is you would link this Promethean Princess with the Raging Phoenix you brought back. Not the one in the EMZ, but the one you brought back. That is actually very important. And then make Pyro Phoenix that way. But again, because we had that mirror, that extra body, we can actually just go straight into the Pyro Phoenix with our leftover body and then have the extra Raging Phoenix up. So basically what we've set up here is a board wipe with the Pyro Phoenix by using the effect of Code of Soul in our graveyard. We can destroy up to 4 cards with Salamangreat Rage, but you do have to have a Raging Phoenix summoned using another Raging Phoenix. That's why that's important. We also, of course, have the Counter Trap Omni Negate, as well as any other cards you had in hand or drew. Alright, opponent's going to lead with the Per Lily here. I'm actually going to let them activate. That's like totally fine. And as you can see, I am continuing to just let them activate cards here, even though now the field spell is in play. That is because neither Rage, which I'm activating now, nor Pyro Phoenix target. Pyro Phoenix just destroys all cards on the field, and Salamangreat Rage targets the Salad monster on your field, but then just destroys cards up to its rating, right? So, I can just pop all 3 of those. I'll Ash Blossom to my friend here. And we still have the Pyro Phoenix board wipe and the Counter Trap as well. Okay, here they're going to summon a Per Lily. I'm just going to use the Promethean Princess as soon as it's played. They're going to Call By, and I'm just going to Roar. Not that I even needed to use the Roar against the Call By here, but I figured I'd just go ahead and do it, because, like, why not? Alright, Promethean... And yeah, they're not even going to... They're just going to concede before that even goes off, So yeah, that's an ideal turn 1 if you go off uninterrupted. As you can see, we had far more than, literally more than enough disruption there. We still had that Pyro Phoenix board wipe we never ended up using at the end there, but yeah, so that's what Salamangreat can do now, as far as the turn 1 board goes. And again, you can play it safe, and you can do the Cyber's Wicked line, where you play around Nibiru, but that will, again, I have to stress, that only sets up the Raging Phoenix and the Counter Trap, and not really anything else, and I don't think that's anywhere near as good. I think in 2024 Yu-Gi-Oh!, you have to set up more interaction than that, even if it means taking the riskier play. That's just my 2 cents, though. But we do still, of course, have plenty more games to see. Let's go into the next one. Okay, this one here is going to be against Branded. Not going to pause as much in this one. I only paused as much as I did in that last game to explain the combo line. Make sure we were all aware of what was happening, you know, and all that fun stuff. So, they're going to be taking the first turn here. We did open with an Ash Blossom, so against Branded, that is, of course, always good. They'll lead with the Spring Ends kit, and also summoning that in order to search out the Branded Fusion. I like that because it means they have to go -1 to get the Branded Fusion, right? Having to put a card back with Kit's effect, and now I can just Ash it, so we are all set. Our hand is looking really, really good as far as plays go. It's not ideal to have the Salamangreat of Fire in your hand, but we also have an extra extender here, because we already have Gazelle and Spinny, and then we also have Lady Debug as well, so I can just use Lady Debug to add a Code of Soul, to have that for potential follow-up plays if needed. Code of Soul is a very, very good extender. I don't really think you need more than 1 copy, though, especially if you're playing Lady D. Well, here's the thing. if you're playing Code of Soul, you should just be playing Lady Debug. And I think Code of Soul is probably just optimal in Salamangreat right now. But I think you only need one copy, because the card is so accessible between Lady Debug and Fire Fist Horse Prince, that you don't need more than one copy. So here my opponent nibs me at a kind of confusing moment. They do it in response to the Code of Soul effect, which, like, I can still just special summon this. But I can't really do much else beyond that. Thankfully for me, though, they don't really do much else here beyond battling over their token with the nib and then setting another card before passing. And with the Salad of Fire that's in our hand, that is definitely going to be enough to initiate some follow-up plays here. I'm using the Code of Soul effect, but you don't really need to that badly. Now here, our Salamangreat of Fire will get impermed, but that's actually 100% fine. I didn't even need that effect to resolve to have follow-up plays. What I can do is I can link off the Fire with the code, and now I can summon Sunlight Wolf. Jaguar that I sent last turn is what I was going to do until our opponent flipped Call By. So that would have allowed me to go into Promethean Princess, and then I could have potentially made either Raging Phoenix or Pyro Phoenix based on whatever. I guess I'd probably need to do Pyro Phoenix just to get over the nib here, which is a little weird that this deck has sometimes a bit of a time outing like a 3k monster, but okay, now here you're going to see me misplay pretty massively, because guess what I forgot to do? I forgot to flip Call By before they could activate Tragedy, so yeah. That is definitely not the best for me. I could have stopped the Brain Diffusion from happening altogether, but what I can do as a bit of a recourse here is I can just flip up Call By in response to Albion, banish Albaz, and now they can't make Mirror Jade, but they also still have to fuse with the Albion, so the fusion isn't negated because I banished Albaz, but they do still have to go through with it. They're going to make a Dragostapelia here. So they do represent another onboard negate, but thanks to Balinx, my Sunlight Wolf lived through the turn. And Lady Debug, oh, was just a phenomenal top deck here. I'm going to normal summon her. She gets negated by the Dragostapelia. That is A-okay with me. That means I don't have to worry about the interruption there anymore. Now I can just link off Lady Debug with the Sunlight Wolf in order to summon out Promethean Princess. From there, Promethean Princess F is going to bring back the Gazelle. Gazelle F, I can send another Spinny. Spinny F to bring itself back. Now, I never made Mirage Stalio, so we can just make that. And Mirage Stalio, when linked off for a Salamangreat monster, can actually bounce a card on the field too. So I can pull out the Weasel from my deck and then link that off into a Balinx. I do want the Weasel in the graveyard because then it can activate its effect and that will let me proc my Promethean Princess on my turn. Gonna go for the Raging Phoenix here. Mirage Stalio F bouncing that Dragostapelia. Using my Sanctuary to link off Raging Phoenix for, of course, another Raging Phoenix. Now I get to add off of Raging Phoenix, and like I said, use Weasel's effect. I'll put Salad of Fire on the opponent's board. That doesn't actually Firelock them. It might kind of read like it does, but it doesn't. Because they would have to add a Salamangreat monster to Firelock themselves. But now I get to Princess pop my Balinx as well as the Nib on their field. This will proc my other Raging Phoenix to come back. We're basically doing part of the turn 1 combo line here, but guess what? That also puts multiple bodies on the board for you to OTK with, as well as allowing you to use Princess to pop your opponent's bigger monster. So that's an example of what this deck can do going second. You might wonder, well, how do you pull off a win without access code? And you honestly pretty much just do the turn 1 combo line that will naturally make enough damage on board to win. You could also just do the full turn 1 combo line, and then you can use Pyro Phoenix with either Code of Soul or the Sanctuary, whichever one you didn't use to make the Raging Phoenix. You can use the other one to make Pyro Phoenix, wipe your opponent's board, and then you'll have 8k damage on the field. So, if you have an extender and have the double Raging Phoenix in play, if it's just Raging and Pyro, that's only 5,600. But if you have the extra body, which you only second, you can just send the Jaguar. You don't have to set up the counter trap, so you can always have an extra body. So yeah, it's actually a lot easier than you might think to do those OTK plays. But let's go ahead and see our next duel here. Alright, got another one against, or not another one, but we have a game in general against Snake Eye. Wouldn't be a deck profile if we didn't show off a game of us playing against the definitely still best deck of the format here. So yeah, this is going to be another game where we're able to combo off fairly easily because we have access to Gazelle and Spinny, and we have both Call By and Cross out here. It might seem a little like, I don't know, I was a little iffy on how good I thought Salamangreat was going to be when I was learning this deck, because I was like, it's all the lines are like 2-card lines. Although again, Lady Debug by herself is still the full combo minus the counter trap, but because you have to send Spinny with Gazelle instead of the counter trap and then do the full line. But like here, I'm not even crossing out the Imperm because I don't need the Gazelle to resolve to win here. Actually, the counter trap, while nice, is not necessary. Alright, so here is our Mirage Stalio. I'm going to activate that effect. And here is the second Imperm. This one I am going to cross out because this one does actually need to resolve. Alright, opponent's going to respond with an Effect Veiler. We can go ahead and just throw out the Called By against that one there. And they have another Veiler! Look at this hand from our opponent. Double Veiler, double Imperm. Ugh, that's gross. That is just absolutely disgusting. It does mean they're down to 1 card in hand, but spoiler alert, that card is Snake Eye Ash. Because of course it is, because it always is, but it's all good. Well, it's not all good, because it means our combo line got interrupted. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just pivot into SP Little Knight. I really don't have any other options. Setting the circle just in case it might bait out some disruption, and then passing back over to our opponent. So sure enough, there is the Snake Eye Ash, and they can just go full combo here. Ash is going to add the Poplar, Poplar F to summon itself, Poplar F. We'll actually add the original Sin here. I was a little surprised, but I think they wanted to play around the Little Knight. I didn't use Little Knight against Snake Eye Ash because they could just special Poplar, add original Sin, link Poplar in a Link Rebo, put Poplar in the Spell Trap, activate original Sin, and then get Snake Eye Oak and bring back Poplar and have plays. Now here, I am very glad I set the Salamangreat circle, because they went so far out of their way as to make a Little Knight just to address the face down card. I'm going to Little Knight their Little Knight back. It doesn't really do anything here, but I don't know. I was like, why not? There probably is a reason to not do it, but I'll just use Circle to add Gazelle. Gazelle is pretty typically just what you want to add most of the time. Alright, so here they get to Oak back for the Ash. Although, fortunately for me, this actually doesn't end in too much, right? Like, they're not even going to go for the Flambridge here. They're going to Hita... Oh, no, they can Hita back the Salio, right. Then they... Oh, no, they didn't battle because of SP Little Knight. That's right. But yeah, they're just going to Promethean Princess into... Ambluwhale? I'm trying to remember if it was Ambluwhale or Phoenix. I think it was Ambluwhale. Yeah, this is Ambluwhale. There's no up arrow. Yeah, Ambluwhale Pass is all they're going to be able to end on. Which is really good for me, honestly. I'm surprised they didn't do more, but we'll definitely take it. That Little Knight threatened enough disruption there. Now here the Gazelle is going to get hit with the Ash Blossom. I'm going to chain the Little Knight and banish their Ambluwhale here. That way, I'm not going to have to worry about the Promethean Princess for the rest of the turn. Alright, triple attack to draw 2 in this case. Taking Little Knight doesn't really do anything here. Unfortunately for me, the cards I drew didn't really do anything either, but I don't necessarily need the cards that I drew in order to make plays. The Call By here is actually insane, because I have a lot of different things I can potentially use it against. Gonna link for Hita, and we do have to battle over the SP before we activate Hita's effect, of course, as we go to bring back their Promethean Princess. We can use their Promethean Princess to bring back Gazelle, link off Gazelle and Hita for my own Promethean Princess. Might seem like a bit unnecessary, but it's not. I do need to set up my own Princess in the graveyard here. Now from there I can make the Raging Phoenix, and I can use my field spell to summon another Raging Phoenix, and then use that one to search one of the 2 trap cards, right? I debated whether I wanted the counter or the normal trap card here. I actually decided to grab the normal trap card because, I don't know, the counter trap card can disrupt you know, one interaction for sure. But the Rage, I feel like, has the potential to wipe a whole board. Well, not I feel like it does have the potential to wipe a whole board, and I just thought that was more valuable. So they get to Ambler Whale. They chose to battle over Little Knight. That's totally fine with me. I don't need Little Knight anymore. They're going to summon, or they're going to add a second Snake Eye Oak, which is surprising. Then Ash for Birch, also a little surprising. But I'm definitely going to Rage here. If their hand is Birch and an Unknown, it's pretty likely they won't be able to do anything, especially as I go to Called By and banish the Hita they want to bring back with the Ambler Whale. That did actually matter because they could have gone Hita, Special to Birch, and then they had Valor in their yard, of course, from that ridiculous turn 1 they had. So they could have easily gone into a Selene access code line if I hadn't stopped them there. They didn't even wait for me to, like, do my plays. They just conceded as soon as I normal summoned another Lady Debug, which is definitely A-okay with me. We'll definitely take those for sure. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. That means a lot to me. It's also a great way to support the channel, so thank you very much in that way as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways, like the very special patrons that I am thanking here, you can do so by checking out some of the links in the description. One of those goes to the Patreon, where you can join these fine folk and support the channel that way. I do post daily content over on Patreon, so you do get something for support there. And if you're interested, I also have a coaching tier option as well. Details again will be on Patreon in the link below. Also in the description linked below is my Twitch page where I stream a few times a week. You can go ahead and check that out, follow or subscribe over there if you ever want to catch me live. You'll also find my second YouTube channel if you feel like subscribing over there to watch some of the Twitch VODs as well as some additional non-Yu-Gi-Oh related content that I make over there. Again, any of those links you want to check out is all a great way of supporting. But again, even if you don't do that, just watching was also a fantastic way to support. And once again, I have to thank you so very much. But in any case, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out, and I'm hoping you have a fantastic day.